Charlie, I'm coming to you. Tyler Adams. We've tap danced around this. We've actually probably swam in these waters before with our little tiny trunks and all that good stuff. You showing off your quads because that's what Charlie Davies does. But talk to us about Tyler Adams and if he does legitimately make a move. And we have Fab there saying the Premier League. Where would he go where he could get those minutes that I think we all
Leeds
hope and know that he deserves? Leeds?
Everybody's going to Leeds. Come on.
That's true. Americans,
every American
is linked to Leeds. But let's maybe leave Leeds out of it. Where else would you like to see him?
You know, I would have said Arsenal, but it is it's a team that I think is too much in flux. You have players coming in and out of the lineup. There's nothing that speaks consistency when I'm looking at Arsenal right now. You know, they have a young group of players and talented group, but I think the pressure to win is so immense there that it might not be the best fit for him.
But isn't that what we want of our players? Is those situations?
Yes, but I think it's case specific. And in Tyler Adams' case, you don't really need to worry about his ambition and his work ethic and him being pushed. He's never been a player that's going to be, I'm sitting on my high horse, I've already made it, and I'm all about salary. And no, that's not Tyler Adams. Tyler Adams is the engine room of the U.S. men's national team. He needs to be playing consistently, but he also needs to be protected, right? We've seen when he overdoes it because he covers so much ground that if a manager is not in tune with how Tyler Adams plays and kind of the demands that sometimes require him to take a rest or a break, then the Premier League, when they're playing even more games than they are in the Bundesliga, might not be the best fit. At least the clubs that are playing in multiple competitions, like in Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, Man U, you know, those top clubs. So in saying that, I could see him make another move to La Liga. I could see him playing in the Liga. I could see him playing on another Bundesliga club, although less likely. A lower Premier League team, maybe a Wolves, would be a place where I could see him jumping in and performing and doing well there.
Anything in Serie A? We got Felix saying maybe Serie A.
Serie A would also be a great league for him because, again, you want to continue to learn and develop because we're never done learning and developing. But especially in Serie A, where it's all about tactics and being tactically sound, that would be a great spot for him because we know he can go everywhere, but it's got to be controlled. And I think in Serie A, that would be a great step in the right direction for him.
Okay, Heath, your thoughts on Tyler Adams? Any teams that stand out for you?
Yeah, I mean, when I think about the league, I just think about the secondary top-tier team, right? I think about a potential for a Marseille or a Lyon when you think about them generally speaking and what he could do at the level that he can play at. When I think about Italy, I think about, maybe it's a little more chaotic than Charlie would like, but in Atalanta in the way that Tyler can cover ground and put out fires and be able to play in that a little bit of more of a chaotic type of environment. Roma, maybe in terms of the size, like I'm thinking more like size of the club, not necessarily club specific, because I think they might find themselves, potentially out of Europe next year. Who knows? As well. But same with Atalanta. But it could be a good situation for Tyler on the Atalanta front. Premier League again. I like the Wolves shout. I like Crystal Palace. I actually do like Leeds as well in terms of the way that they play. More on the chaotic side, which is maybe playing into Tyler's strengths and not necessarily the strengths of what he could develop if he was in a more tactical environment where he was a little bit kind of changing his style that could fit some of the strengths of his games and the weaknesses to kind of make him a better player, as Charlie was mentioning as well.
I love Crystal Palace, by the way, with Patrick Vieira. What a manager.
That would be great.
He has MLS experience. I mean, he played against them with New York City FC. I mean, so he's familiar with Tyler Adams, and that familiarity goes a long way. Plus, he knows how to develop players.
Wait, hear me out. Hear me out. I like that shout a lot. I do think that Crystal Palace might have some players already in that position, but Leicester City, hear me out. Leicester City, they went and identified a holding midfielder a long time ago who ended up doing great things named N'Golo Kante, giving him an opportunity to showcase his skills on a bigger platform. They now have Wilfred Ndidi, who they've done the same thing with, and now he's a very desirable CDM that I think could make a move this summer. So if you lost Ndidi, they have Boubakary Samare, 23-year-old, but he hasn't necessarily lit it up in that one spot. I think Tyler Adams, imagine if Tyler Adams could play with Leicester, assuming their back four gets a little healthier in this summer. And then he's got Tielemans off his shoulder, Madison, Harvey Barnes. He's playing to Jamie Vardy. I like that setup in front of them. Now, defensively, I have some concerns with that. But then you got Kasper Schmeichel in goal. Like, it's just a nice, solid team. And if Brendan Rodgers stays, I think there's some nice consistency there. Leicester City, for me, would be an interesting choice. Now, obviously, I agree with you guys at Leeds, and everybody else is saying Leeds is a nice fit as well with his style. And
yeah, but Jimmy, those names are the same as like a Schlupp or Kouyaté at a Crystal Palace in terms of like, you're gonna be competing with. We're not talking about Watford and Norwich. We're talking about really solid middle table to upper middle table pushing Europa. Like, I think Crystal Palace are 1 or 2 signings away from being in European contention and turning their million draws into wins. But like, same with Leicester City. Leads to some extent in terms of the size of the club. I mean, you're going to be competing, but you're not going to be competing in a sense where at an Arsenal, as Charlie mentioned, like you might find yourself out of the team for months, and it might be because of things you can control, but it also might not be because of things you can control.
Right? No,
unless you're very, very, very good.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Well, we're excited to see how it goes, and obviously we'll keep Fabrizio Romano on the case as he does. That's why he's one of the best in the business at the transfer stuff.